Hey YouTube, or wherever this is posted. Hi, it's been a while. It's been just like a while. For those of you who are new, hello. My name is Festival. I am here about a thing. I'm here about a thing. I'm here for you about a thing. It's 2024, and there's a bunch of bad things happening. Didn't know if you know that, but now you do know it. Bad things, they're happening. One of those big bad things that's going on is Israel is, currently and has been occupying Gaza for like 70 years. So people are a bit mad. There have been some protests and some upsetness. I'm not going to recap the discourse here. It's 2024. Check your history books or check the news, whichever is more relevant to you right now. There are bad things. Part of the bad things happening is that there are a lot of people and a lot of institutions, a lot of things that share information, like Twitter. It all comes around. There's a lot of things that want to obfuscate what is going on. Gosh, are we going to have to talk about Nazis? Dang it. So let's talk about conspiracies and where people feel control, how people feel control, and intersections between Christianity and conspiracy thinking. Roll the intro. Conspiracy theories, or conspiracy, what is it? Conspiracy, let's do the old dictionary definition. A conspiracy, noun, an agreement to perform an illegal, wrongful, or subversive act. 2, a group of conspirators.
3, an agreement between 2 or more persons to commit a crime or accomplish a legal purpose through illegal action. 4,
a joining or acting together as if by sinister design. 5, a combination of people for an evil purpose, an agreement between 2 or more persons to commit a crime in concert as treason, a plot. A concurrence or general tendency as of circumstances to one event as if by agreement.
So it's like a plot, a plan, something that you are thinking up. But more specifically, it's between people. It's an agreement. It's something that is a secretive plan of some kind. A conspiracy means that there are conspirators and that multiple conspirators are working together, probably in an illegal or unethical way, in order to have some sort of outcome. Conspiracy theory. There are a lot of different conspiracy theories. They take a lot of different forms. Some of them are rather benign. Some of them are known to be true, which makes it very frustrating in slapping down other conspiracy theories and things when you have to make the nuance that there have been things that people have conspired to do in the past. That is just true. Let's take one that I think we can all laugh at, which is the flat earth. People say that the earth is flat, and we know it because we haven't fallen off of it yet. There's a lot of other bad reasons for conspiracy theories, but I think what's more important right now is what function does a conspiracy theory serve? What effect does it have on us? Why would we do these? Why would we come up with these? Is it just a way of rationally explaining the things going on in the world? Because not everything has a rational explanation. Is it storytelling? Is it part of our innate human desire to make sense of things in a narrative fashion so that we can learn from them and keep away from dangerous things in the future? I don't know. Some of, all of, whatever. But whatever conspiracy theory you are fallen into, whether that be the flat earth or that there is a conspiracy of elites and powerful people letting millions of people into our country in order to erode our social foundation. Whatever the conspiracy is, there's a reason people hold that, and that's normally some sort of self-soothing sort of reason, that if you can have something that is the problem, then you can think of it as, you can find a solution for the thing. But if the problem is nebulous, then the solution could be nebulous, and therefore you cannot take concrete action in order to make the concrete solution make any better. Oh boy, yeah, there's a lot of reasons. Undergirding most conspiracy theories is anti-Semitism. Let's take that, oh no, the evil cabal of democratic elites are letting in millions of people into our country so that they can vote illegally and sway the course of the future. That's got its roots in anti-Semitism, which is a hatred or dislike of the Jewish people. And that goes back a long way. People have been doing things for anti-Semitic reasons for a long time because it's a lot more comfortable to say that there is a certain class of people, there's a certain group of people that are causing our problems. We're going to talk about the Nazis, damn it. It's much more comfortable to say that there are just the Jews in our country and we have to get rid of them. Or contain them, or confine them, or control them, or send them away to camps. That is a much simpler explanation to wrap your mind around and to explain and to express to other people, and it's much more psychologically affirming than to realize that, like, capitalism is broken. But let's say it's just easier to imagine a world in which the Jews are gone, is an easier thing to imagine than to rid ourselves of the idea that scarcity is tied to this capitalism market economy. So if a lot of conspiracies are all about people trying to keep information away from you, or the cabal or the elite, but anytime there is a noticeable slant to the information that we are given, we as people, as storytellers, as pathfinders, as all of these things that we are, want to find a solution, want to find a reason for, like, hey, why is that thing the way that it thinks? And right now, here in 2024, we, the people on the internet and around the world, are being given a lot of slanted information, particularly about the conflict going on in Palestine. One more definition, the definition of conspiracy theory. A theory seeking to explain a disputed case or matter as a plot by a secret group or rather alliance, rather than an individual or isolated act.
2. A hypothesis alleging the members of a coordinated group are and/or were secretly working together to commit illegal or wrongful actions, including attempting to hide the existence of the group and its activities.
In notable cases and hypotheses, contradicts the mainstream explanation for historical or current events.
Conspiracy theories arise when there are disputed events, and they are used by people to obfuscate. Conspiracies can be used to add a little mud to the water when you're talking about a thing. And that's why there's lots of, here we go again, Nazis that love to talk about the conspiracy to make up things such as the Holocaust. The truthfulness of their belief in this allegation is rarely what is actually in question. The contention over are things true, are things not true, in that particular discussion is very rarely actually about facts and is more about creating a mixed dialogue, that there's a disputed case. Conspiracies require something to be disputed, which means that it has to be something that there are multiple explanations of. And right now, we are being fed a lot of slanted information that skews towards allies of America being always altruistic and positive in the reasons that they do things, and only being reactionary to aggression and never being shown to show aggression themselves. And by promoting this constant narrative of they're not doing anything bad, they're just defending themselves. And as I've said, a lot of conspiracy theories all go back to anti-Semitism. It's those anti-Semitic turtles all the way down. So now, some definitions. Anti-Semitism is different than anti-Zionism. Anti-Zionism is the resistance to the colonial idea of an ethno-state for the Jewish people, whereas anti-Semitism is kind of a dislike, a hatred, a phobia of all things, all people that are of and related to Jewishness. You can be, and there are, anti-Zionist Jews, and there are pro-Zionist non-Jews. And I'd say that there's actually probably a lot of anti-Semitic Zionists as well. Because nothing fixes your problem like, hey, all of you people that I don't see as good, live over there in that own little space of yours. So where are we now? We are right in the midst of kind of a mixture of things, because we are being given conflicting information about the things that are happening in Israel and Palestine, and we are also being given an easy to understand, a more swallowable, a more understandable story, a theory, a way of explaining the world that just, it feels good. It makes sense. I understand there are the bad people and there are the good people, and we don't like the bad people and we are the good people, and there's just so many, it's just a relief. It's a relief. Fascism is incredibly relieving to believe. So, let's talk about fascism. So, what is fascism? Let's look at the definition. Fascism, often capitalized, a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual and stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimen, and forcible suppression of the opposition. But what does that mean in human words? Fascism is a story that we tell ourselves that is people of a country, normally said of a country or a race, or exalting this kind of collection of you. And it's a story where that collection, that there was a perfect time. There was this before the bad times, that things were very good. And not only were things very good, but that we, the people of this nation, race, particular class, whatever adherent you're trying to go for, we'll call it a nation. Whatever that nation is, we used to have a perfect past, a time that was wonderful and beautiful, a time in this, it's like you could describe it as like a garden, like this beautiful place that we had before, and then there was like the fall. There was something that went wrong. There were the outsiders that came in. There were, the problems that started. We didn't have those problems before in this mythologized past, but we've lost them because of this. So we just need to have like a big strong man leader. We need an autocratic, powerful central government thing so that we can bring back the old times, that we can make our country the way that it used to be so good. And what happened to us? This is all the story of fascism. This is a story that is pleasant to believe, that calls to, believing that there was a good time before, and that the solution to our problems aren't complicated and multifaceted and haven't been growing for a long, long time, but were instituted at a particular time. All of our problems came from this particular thing, this class of So, of course, what you use as that wedge can change, but it's always some sort of wedge. There's always some sort of other and then an us. And fascism is the political philosophy, and thus power exempted through government, that is the action to bring back that status quo, that fictional past time, that what we used to be, if we could just make a nation great again. Now, you might be aware, or you might not be, of the uncomfortable similarity between this story that is used as the heart of the driving force of why fascism, but it is also the heart and story of why Christianity and a lot of organized religion is that there used to be a perfect time before the fall, and that now we are after it, and that there's a certain problem that we have to address. We have to get rid of this thing, this otherness, this badness. Christianity is a conspiracy theory, and I'm going to stand by that. But whatever your conspiracy theory is, anti-Semitism, round earth, Christianity, take your pill. Whatever the reason behind it, there is a lot of overlap in the way that we see things and think things. And that is why we have seen a lot of Christians, people who use a story to help organize and orient their lives, because I believe that's the idea of Christianity, is it's fundamentally a story that you tell to understand yourself, your place in the universe, the role you have to do, the work you can do in your life. These are all parts of this story, that there used to be this perfect long ago time, and we were in the garden, and it was wonderful, and it was beautiful, and we just had this problem, this sin, this separation, we just need to get rid of that thing, and we will be able to have eternal life, that everything will be perfect again. This is not uncommon to the fascistic idea that all we have to do is vote for our powerful leader, support this grand narrative, this all-encompassing thing. We just have to get everyone on board. We just all have to do our part to reject whatever the thing is that we want to be other than ourselves. This is the story of fascism. That there was a good time before, and then there was a fall, and now we need a hero, a savior, a president, a dictator, a czar, a whatever, to save us, to save you, to save us all from this common collective problem of the Jews. I mean, sin. So you see, it can shift. What is the thing that is used for leverage, and what is the thing being moved? Who is the in group and who is the out group? That it changes and looks different on every nationality, and on every group, on every race, on every thing that tries to use a fascistic ideology. There's a $2 word, ideology. I'm not going to unpack it here. Other people have done better jobs. Find them. This ideology relies on the belief that there was this good, perfect, earlier time, and then this particular certain problem, and then we have the particular certain solution that should fix all of the problems, because really all of our problems are a downstream effect of this one original problem. We could call it like the first sin, the original sin, and if we deal with this initial problem, all of the downstream effects will all be mitigated, and we will have eternal life, or a happy country, or a good Christmas, or whatever we're being promised at the time. So this is why a lot of fascism and anti-Semitism and conspiracy theories really start to overlap, because blaming the Jews is a well-trodden path. It's a very comfortable path. If you can get to it at all, it really feels like you can go for a long way, like you're really uncovering a lot, but really it's just the same thing for many, many iterations. Anti-Semitic turtles, all the way down. Now, back to Twitter. Twitter, we have seen, especially as there have been a lot of conflicted stories, you could say, of what is going on in Palestine. Things that are being used in, the active or passive voice, that there was a disruption, and somehow a whole bunch of citizens got killed or shot, that there was a disturbance, that there was a riot, that there was looting, that there was a stampede, that there was chaos and confusion, and whatever. I can't even, I'm not going into specifics here, but it's easy to say that right now there is a lot of conflicting information about the conflict. Big quotations around that. Conflict. The conflict that is going on in Israel and Palestine. And that makes fertile ground for conspiracy theories. Because when the things that are being told in the mainstream media don't make sense or seem like they're covering something up, you could assume that this is part of a conspiracy, that there are multiple actors. Maybe it's the editors, the writers, the journalists, the publishers, the companies, the governments, who you're getting the information from, who you're dispersing it to. There's a lot of bad tweets out there. It's a lot of bad tweets. It's all about Twitter. This whole video is about Twitter. It's where it started and where it's going to end up. Right now, we are seeing a huge convergence between people who are being brought into conspiracy theories and the incredibly well-worn path that is anti-Semitism. And it's a particular kind of conflict right now because it is very easy to conflate Zionism with Judaism. It is easy to conflate people who are pro this colonialist expansion of Israel to have an ethno-state and ascribe that to all of the Jewish people. Because that's kind of their branding. Israel is very like, we are Jews, for Jews, by Jews. It's kind of the story that they tell. So when there is a lot of conflicting information happening in this time, while you also still have this well-worn path of anti-Semitism that's right by, people do tend to move from this is a conflicting bit of information over to the well-worn path. So we have conspiracy and fascism and anti-Semitism, and we're about to see all of them collide in the magical place that we call Twitter. So, we have this confluence between fascism and anti-Semitism and conspiracy theories, and that is fertile ground for someone to move from one part of that into another. It is not a conspiracy to say that the media has been giving us slanted information about the conflict in Palestine and Israel. So, it is understandable how someone goes from an idea that is in a conspiracy theory and moves towards anti-Semitism or then towards fascism, because they are connected in some way. There is some sort of logical progression of, if I can't trust the media about this, then maybe I can't trust them about other things. And if you are perhaps someone who has never engaged critically with media in the past, this might feel like everything is a lie and tell you to swap entirely all of the stories and things that you've been given to believe something else. Yeah, that'll fix it. Just go from one fundamentalism to another. You nailed it. Good job, you made it out. Comes back to Twitter. Twitter, the reason that I'm making this video. There is a person on Twitter, in the Christian Twitter spaces. Her name is Jory Micah. She tweets the following. I don't believe the official Holocaust story anymore. I don't know what actually happened, but I do know that I've been lied to. If you can't criticize or even ask questions about a historical event without being labeled a Nazi in some countries, arrested, something isn't right. So let's use some of the analytic skills we were just talking about. I don't know what actually happened, but we do know what we've been lied to. Now, this is exactly the kind of perfect place for conspiracy theories to take root. This person has clearly been taking a lot of interest in the goings-on of the conflict between Israel and Palestine, and is horrified at the ways that the media is giving us slanted information. And when you're coming in conflict with, like, seeing that there is a conflict that people don't want to acknowledge or accept, that there is things that are wrong, it is easy to say, oh no, do I need to apply these same bits of questioning, these same sort of analytical skills to other places in my life? Have I gotten everything wrong? If I've been wrong about one thing, then maybe I've been wrong about lots of things. And that is sometimes a very helpful thing to say, to realize that your thinking has been skewed in one part of your life, and therefore, if you're applying reason and critical analysis to the information that you're receiving in other places, things may change. You may have different opinions. But as I said, it's just layers and turtles and turtles and layers of anti-Semitism. So it is really easy to fall from, there is a conspiracy going on, to it's the Jews, large quotes, to the answer is something that is a authoritarian leader. The inevitable conclusion of this kind of thinking, you're going to go from, I don't trust the sources, to another conspiracy is true, to they were the real problem all along, to I have the real solution, which is just a strong man to the problem. She says, if you can't criticize or even ask questions about a historical event without being labeled a Nazi and in some countries arrested, something isn't right. Yes, it's not great that the just using questions narrative has been used by Nazis and fascists and other kind of people denying the horrors of what had happened in the last century. That's on purpose. That's on purpose by the people like the Nazis and the fascists that you're being compared to. They have also made that argument that, well, I'm just asking questions, but it's not really just asking questions. It's not really looking for truth or to find something. It is in itself to create muddled information and lead towards conspiracy. The point of just asking questions is to say that this whole thing is muddled information and thus is subject to conspiracy theories. It is not a benign act to question the historicity of the Holocaust, because it has been used as, I'm just asking questions, I'm free thought, I'm just looking for the truth, to allow this horrible past event to be thought of as contentious, as what happened, when did it happen, who did it happen to, how many, can we really trust the main story? It is wildly frustrating that by giving us slanted information, by the media giving everything with like an obvious bent to it, that conspiracies or conspiracy theories have more fertile ground to grow on. It is because of this fertile ground of lots of room for people to say that things are obviously being twisted, to then twist it further themselves. I believe that the best course of action to pull someone out of a conspiracy theorist rabbit hole, to pull someone out of the nosedive that is falling into anti-Semitism and leading into all of the other isms, is to give them the truth. And the truth is that there are horrible things going on in Gaza. The truth is that the media is complicit and is in some ways encouraging this to continue happening. And you're not going to hear any mainstream source say that. And because we can't talk about the truth, people see that there is some sort of conspiracy and will fall down the path into a deeper and deeper rabbit hole. Jory isn't wrong to be upset about genocide. Jory isn't wrong to apply the analytical skills that she is learning from watching this current conflict, genocide, to apply the skills of skepticism and questioning the media and the bias of the people providing her information. She isn't wrong to apply that to other parts of her life. I think that that would be a very good thing for us to have a critical eye in media analysis and able to separate what is true from what is fact, from what is implied, from what is the truth. It's all so complicated. All of that to say, it is understandable why Jory has gotten to the place that she is at. And I don't know if there is any helping people who have fallen into conspiracy thinking without being able to talk about the truth. Twitter is a bad place for the truth. It is not a place that you go to soberly assess the world. It's a place that you go to yell and scream and be mad at things. I don't have a solution. There's no solution to this. This is just the problem. Let me explain the problem. It's a big problem and we're going to have to just deal with it at some point, but let's understand the giant problem. Let's talk about why conspiracy theories make people feel better. My last visual didn't work quite the way I wanted to, so we're trying again. Conspiracy theories. What are they? Why are they useful? Let's talk circles. I'm going to call this circle real reality, or call everything within it observable reality. But I like real reality, so RR for real reality. Now, over here, we have another circle, and that is your reality. YR. Your reality is affected by real reality, but there are parts of your reality that are inobservable, ineffable to the people who are outside of yourself. You have an internal life and an internal experience that is, of course, impacted by real reality, and there's a place where you have an amount of control over real reality. There's this place where you and reality overlap. But there's a lot of your own personal subjective experience that is not encapsulated by real reality. Now, here comes a conspiracy theory, which I would draw something like this. This is a CS conspiracy theory. Now, a conspiracy theory almost resembles reality. Over here, it kind of goes along with reality. There's similar parts. There's similar explanations between a conspiracy theory and the real reality. But the really important thing as to why people choose, or not even choose, but why do people get pulled in to conspiracy theories? Why do we get pulled into and seduced by this idea? The truth lies right here. It is in our overlap of control. Real reality over here. This is all the things that really exist. There's only so much that you can do as a single person, as a person from a subjective point of view. There's only so much that you can do to impact real reality. And here comes along a conspiracy theory. And this conspiracy theory has so much more that then you can experience into your reality. You can start to pull that in and think of all of that as part of your reality. Now, this makes sense and feels comfortable when you are looking for control. So often the people that fall into conspiracy thinking are people who feel out of control in other areas of their life. So if you can control what you believe, if you can know some sort of secret, special truth, if you can have the answers to life's tough questions, if you can have a special revealed knowledge, that allows your circle of influence, your perceived control of the world, that gets to expand and spread to so much farther out. You can really feel like you have so much more control when really you're slipping farther and farther away from even affecting or being observed by or observing yourself real reality. This is the heart of why people get pulled into conspiracy thinking. It is a bid for control in what otherwise feels uncontrollable, a situation that is maybe so bad, so perplexing, so beyond the human comprehension, that to make it more survivable, people hold on to these stories where they are the hero, where they have the control, where they have all of these things. Now, is all faith a conspiracy? Is all version of believing in a thing that you can't see, but you believe that there are forces acting towards some sort of outcome? Does that count all religion as a conspiracy theory? Maybe, kinda, yeah. But there are certainly things within Christianity that really lean towards a conspiracy theory. Take, for instance, young earth creationism. The idea of young earth creationism is that this whole earth, people, things going on, this hasn't really been going on that long. And it was specifically made for us right now. So anything that we find, say like natural resources in the ground and things, those are all okay for us to use because obviously they're meant for us to use because everything was made for us right here, right now. Another reason young earth creationism is a conspiracy theory is that the idea is that because the earth is actually really young, any scientists, any scientific disciplines, anyone who says something differently or outside of that is actually part of the conspiracy to make you think that the earth is very old. So young earth creationism really isn't about the conspiracy is that the earth is young. In young earth creationism, the conspiracy is that everyone is trying to deceive you into believing that the earth is old. What am I always yelling about? Time isn't real. Time isn't real. Burn your clocks. They are the cops of our domestic lives. How dare we let clocks control us and have power over every second? Even the idea of defining your time, your life, your experiences into seconds and minutes and hours. Time itself is a fascist tool to control us and keep us from rising up. Every problem that now exists had already existed, and there's nothing new under the sun. Vanity, vanity, all is. We can't get back to the garden because we never left. Or, to say it another way, we were never there. We were never in the mysterious, mythological before time where everything was perfect and none of our problems existed yet. Problems have always existed. There isn't a start to when that was like true, and was it not true before, and then suddenly it is true now. We've always had problems. We're always going to have problems. When we see people move from faith to conspiracy theory to anti-Semitism, we have to understand that the same motive is driving all of those things. The want to make sense of our world and the story that we have. That we want there to be continuity between the things that we learn and see in the world and what we believe and understand to be true. So, I guess mainstream media is responsible for creating the Holocaust deniers of today because they are proving themselves to be untrustworthy, giving slanted information that people call everything into question, that they question more things in the past, and I understand how that leads to a fundamentalist idea of just, well, let's never question things, let's never try to make things better because then we could lose what we already have, but that's an idea of fear. It's just fear or faith. Fear or faith, that's everything that we're arguing about. It comes back to either fear or it comes to faith. You either have fear of your fellow man or you have faith in your fellow man. You either have fear of us all being lied to or you have faith that people are telling the truth in the best way that they know how within the power structures that they have. You're either afraid of the inevitability of collapse, or you have faith in the change that could happen within that collapse. You either are afraid of gender ideology or IDA or whatever the thing that you want to be afraid of this week is, or you have faith in the goodness of other people, of wanting to have good outcomes, not just for yourself, but for others. It's all fear or faith. So we are going to continue to watch people go off the rails and to fall into anti-Semitism and to other conspiracy theories, and I think eventually into fascism, because this all comes from the same root, which is fear. Here's the problem. The real reality, the observable reality, the what everyone can agree with is real, is shrinking because of conspiratorial thinking, because of the way that we have allowed even historical events to be subject to scrutiny, to say that they are open-ended questions, just by muddying the water to say, it's a disputed account, is shrinking the observable reality that we share. And that's very scary, because when there is more conflicted reality, there is even more room for conspiratorial thinking. And I am very worried about the people in my life. I'm very worried about people at large falling from one kind of conspiratorial thinking into another, and how that can move from a conspiracy to anti-Semitism to fascism to whatever the story is that has to keep going. I am very worried that people do not understand, how do we share reality? How do we share reality with ourselves and others? How do we share reality? I don't know. I don't know how we share this reality. I don't know how we do it. I don't know how to help everyone, but this is what has helped me. Find the truth. Start with no assumptions. Start with anything could be true, and just allow yourself to be wrong. I'm gonna go hug my cat. Is every religion a conspiracy theory? Leave your comments down below.